Good morning, everyone. Today we're checking out the brand new kill count from Dead Meat, Frankenhooker from 1999. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant from 1990. Sorry about that. Let's hop in and see how this dead woman of the night, well, becomes a dead woman of the night.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies and show you how they were made. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Frankenhooker, released in 1990. Weird year for horror. Frankenhooker was co-written and directed by Frank Henenlotter, who gave us Basket Case. Everyone knows I freaking love Basket Case. It is the most homespun wild shit I've ever seen.
Good.
The sequels were much more polished.
Okay, it's crazy, but it's good.
And humorous, and the same thing can be said about Frankenhooker, which was made between Basket Cases 2 and 3, The Progeny. Now, if you couldn't tell from the title, this is obviously a super sexual movie. If that's gonna bug you, don't watch it. It's fine, not everything is for everyone. But this one is for me. I like this kind of sleaze. It's interesting to me. Henenlotter's an exploitation filmmaker who means well, kind of like John Waters. Even though this movie is silly as hell, he infuses it with feminist themes, like the fact that sex workers are people too, and that women should be able to control their own bodies. And this is thematic analysis, by the way, based on the filmmaker's own words. It's part of what we do on this show, all right? So, calm down. I don't adore Frankenhooker like I do Basket Case, partly because it's more comedic, but also, like, dude, Frankenhooker herself is great, but a friggin' hour goes by until she shows up. I mean, don't get me wrong, the main guy has acted really well.
It takes an hour before you even get to the title character.
And there are a surprising number of layers to his character. But still, I'm watching Frankenhooker for Frankenhooker's monster, not Dr. Frankenhooker. Know what I mean? Still, this is my favorite kind of movie to kill count. It's weird, it's unique, it's heartfelt, and it's got wacky kills. So let's get to it.
Damn!
Yeah, what the hell? I'm inside! There's a ceiling right there. Sorry, where was I? I think I was about to talk about, Fracon? Fracon? Sorry, I meant today's sponsor, Raycon. Yeah,
there you go.
Trying to talk about Raycon. There. Is it done? Am I free? Okay.
I think so.
How many ladies of the night have to die to create one Frankenhooker? Let's find out and get to the kills.
I mean, if you're not looking too well in the polls, technically only one. I'm sorry, that was a little dark, even for me.
The movie begins with an eyeball! Wait, is this the subject again? Nope, it's just science. Mad science. Jeffrey Franken's the kind of guy who messes with eyeballed brains in jars. They even transmit FMV game footage. Sweet! Until one hammer strike too many and that thing goes up in flames. Jeff's doing this shit at his fiance's house where they're celebrating her dad's birthday. That's why Elizabeth's decked out in only the finest early 90s inflatable fashion. That's actually just a very bad fat suit. The whole thing here is she's supposed to be heavy. I guess everywhere but her face. Meanwhile, birthday dad's out here looking like Gordy with a rubber apron on too? What are you about to do dishes on your birthday, dude? Elizabeth presents to him a gift, a robo lawnmower courtesy of Dr. Franken.
This is your day. I don't want credit.
An eager but ill-advised demonstration of the machine gets Elizabeth killed when it cuts her down and chops.
Why would you stand in front of it? Always stand behind.
Her up.
And then, look
Later,
at that.
she's eloquently eulogized by a newscaster with a metal plate in her head.
The vivacious young girl was instantly reduced to a tossed human salad, a salad that police are still trying to gather up, a salad that was once named Elizabeth.
From her death comes lightning flashes and a title card, as Jeffrey spends the opening credits doing a bunch of science and muttering to himself.
Now E equals MC squared at this point here.
Yeah, but only at that point there. And which scientific equation makes them paper kisses taste so good? He's stolen away Elizabeth's head, though he apparently wasn't too slick about it.
You have no idea what happened to the head?
I don't know. I didn't see it. The last time I saw it, it was spinning through the air.
He just won't accept this as her end, no matter what his mom tries to tell him.
Elizabeth's dead. Life goes on.
But why should he give up? He's a successful mad scientist. He's even got old eyeball brain back up and running. Jeffrey actually attempts to talk through his feelings of isolation with his...
Sorry, but who the hell is that eyeball brain in the fish tank?
I'm antisocial. Becoming dangerously amoral.
But she just offers a sandwich in response as a way to avoid the conversation.
Sandwich is good.
Baby. He was trying to open up. His mom's played by Louise Lasser, best known as Mary Hartman in Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. And also, for Dead Meat fans, from her role 3 years prior as the mom in Blood Rage. Yeah, we've all been there, lady. With no emotional support, Jeffrey gets back to his weird science, popping open his freezer full of bubbling purple brew. That's where he keeps Elizabeth's head. That is, when he's not having dinner with it and her other body parts. Oh man, man, I forgot how much YouTube hates severed body parts. I'm sorry for
Damn
these
it.
blurs. This sucks. He plans to use lightning from a storm 2 days away to bring her back to life. He learns about it
that's
from
a
a weather
mess.
report presented by TV horror host John Zachary, who voiced the parasite Elmer in Henenlotter's ridiculous brain damage.
Hi.
Since
Whoa,
that movie, which
what
rules,
the-
was non-union, Henenlotter couldn't credit Zachary, so he gave him this cameo as a favor. Jeffrey's got a whole catalog of body options for Elizabeth's head.
How about this model? A visit to the sweet shop. I can make you into anything you want.
Yeah, anything she wants, dude, sure. Considering those Michelin Man clothes were supposed to make her look overweight, it's clear Jeffrey is using this opportunity to rebuild Elizabeth how he wants her, rather than how she was. Problem is, if he wants sexier body parts, they're gonna have to come from someone who's alive. How to
Yeah.
acquire those parts is such a brain teaser, he needs to physically stimulate his mind. He does so
Ooh,
with
what?
a power drill he spins up and sticks into his skull.
Oh, God!
Swirling up his imagination. It does the trick, and he realizes
I wasn't expecting that.
he can get what he needs by exploiting the most vulnerable among us, sex workers in the city.
Hey, you looking for some action? On a date?
He pulls over and says he's looking for parts. Yes, beautiful parts. And parts these ladies have.
Oh, wow.
His fat wad drives this chick Honey insane, so she agrees to get him a few girls for a parts party, as long as it's cool with her pimp Zorro. And she ain't talking about Antonio Banderas. Zorro is the lord of these nether realms, ruling by decree of muscles and spray tan. Oh, and
Dude
and
looking
drugs.
good.
Yeah, the drugs are probably the most
And
effective
drugs,
way
yep.
he rules. He pushes crack on everyone, which is killing them. So Jeffrey decides to buy some and create super crack. Eureka! With it, he'll be able to peacefully kill
Oh yes, super crack.
the sex workers whose
Super
bodies
crack?
he needs. In fact, it's not even really killing them. You know, it's more like letting them die.
I'm not shooting anyone. I'm not stabbing anyone. Nobody has a gun to their head. If they don't want to do it, they can just say no.
This, of course, directly quotes First Lady Nancy Reagan's campaign against drugs. Henenlotter's always been as
Oh, and that's what started the whole Just Say No campaign. I honestly did not know that. Never talked to... Sorry about that. I did not mean to hit my mic, though. I meant to say, never talked about it in school. Just always the Say No campaign. Why the hell is it called Say No? Now we know.
political as he's been subversive. You can see that in the TV cameo by the late Beverly Bonner, who was Casey in Basket Case. Credited as Casey in this movie as well, she advocates for legalization of sex work.
I'm talking about women selling their bodies because they no longer have any other choice.
Frankenhooker's seedy setting and subject matter was inspired by Henenlotter's time shooting brain
It
damage.
is a question.
That was done on the west side of New York City, where he was a first-hand witness to the crack boom and its effects. In contrast, Frankenhooker was partly
that
filmed
bad?
in a studio warehouse near Greenwich Village, back-to-back with Basket Case 2. It was a quick shoot, only 6 weeks. Henenlotter, a true blue
that
indie
is
filmmaker,
fast.
didn't love the tight schedule and union crew, since it meant he had less freedom and improvisation on set. Still, a union film with a few $million behind it was huge for some of these people.
Damn.
Going from the really low
Few
budget
million.
films that I started with, like Bad Girls Dormitory, Robot Holocaust, Young Nurses in Love, Deranged,
Robot
to
Holocaust.
a $5 million budget film to me was like, holy shit, I'm gonna be in this huge Hollywood movie.
Jeffrey tests his product by billowing the super crack into a rodent's cage and talking to it like it were a sex worker. Is that part necessary?
Oh, if you weren't a guinea pig, I'd jump in that cage myself.
Careful, dude. You sound like you're gonna blow. Oh, I meant Jeffrey, but okay. He heads back to the
Oh,
streets where
shit.
he enlists the help of
It just straight up popped.
Honey to gather up a bunch of girls. She introduces him as Dr. Jersey Boy, and he gets to work poking, prodding, and measuring parts.
This is a perfect 18 in diameter.
The ladies wonder when they're gonna get to the sex part, but this guy's only interested in science and doing graduate references.
This reminds me of the St. Louis Arch.
After crawling through enough crotch, he eventually finds all the grade A ass he's looking for. Great, then they won't have to keep Zorro waiting, since he's here to pick up his girls.
Hey, Zorro, what's up? Just waiting for my bitches. They should be down in a few minutes. Oh, good.
And a
Anything
lot
I
of
can
his
help you
loves his
with?
motel clerks. Also, why did that "What's up" sound like Bloodhound Gang and Mope?
Hey, Pac-Man, what's up?
Hey, Zorro, what's up?
Oh shit, it did.
You bitches, I'm high on crap.
That actually works real well with Zorro. Jeffrey has second
What
thoughts,
was that?
ethical thoughts, and decides he can't kill these ladies. He throws money at them to get them to leave, but then they find the super crack, and that gets him
Oh
going.
no.
Look at this, girls. The party ain't over yet.
The near nude
Oh, no.
ladies hold Jeffrey down as they get real high, then take their clothes off and dance around the room.
And
You know,
then
some
pop,
critics
pop,
describe
pop.
this movie as having softcore porn elements, but I just don't think you can smoke crack and still call it softcore. Oh wait, actually, never mind. Yeah, it does look like softcore porn. You're right.
Yeah,
but don't get
it-
distracted by the
yeah.
debauchery. Remember what happened to that guinea pig? Well,
Yep,
ladies,
here we
it'll
go.
happen to you.
Is it awfully hot in here?
Ha!
A
There
woman
it
named
goes.
Angel blows the fuck up and earns her wings, a casualty of the super crack side effects. Pretty soon, the 7 other chicks start to blow up as well, in a very unique way for a horror movie. Instead of blood and guts, these are clearly mannequins that are exploding and showing their foam edges. But hey, it's charming, whatever. It's like a crappy old school magic trick or something.
There they
The
all
best
go.
one is Chartreuse, who's fully posed on her hands and knees for her explosion. Also, just a note, there are only 6 on-screen explosions. We see Snow, Amber and Anise, Monkey, Crystal, and Chartreuse explode. There's
And
a 7th
Angel
chick
as the
named
boss.
Sugar who they don't show exploding, but I'm pretty sure she didn't make it out of there. In the end, only Honey
That
is
was a
still
leg.
alive and pissed, but not for long since she too bursts apart, her head flying through the air and knocking Zorro unconscious.
Oh.
Thanks, Honey. While I prefer my exploitation films to go nuts with blood and guts, the obvious
Get it?
artifice of these bodies was fully intentional. Henenlotter wanted the movie to be more comedic and not get too gory as it exploded sex workers. He hoped it would help
Yeah.
with the MPAA.
This film has to have the strong comedy element. The ratings board is already going to be looking at it with an eagle eye.
But it didn't. They slapped it with an X rating,
Ah.
so the movie was released unrated, causing its box office intake to be a mere $200,000.
Wow.
Ouch. The exploding bodies were made by Gabe
That's a
Bartalos, who
shame.
had done effects makeup on Brain Damage, including creating Elmer. He's one of the most underappreciated artists in the game, due to the Leprechaun makeup for all of Warwick Davis's movies. I might be
Ooh.
biased thanks to my history with the little shit, but I think it's one of the best villain designs in all of horror. I'll fucking say it. Bartalos couldn't cheat or hide equipment anywhere because the characters were so scantily clad. So he made full-body alginate casts of all the women in their final poses, which were intentionally complex as a sort of challenge. The dummies were made
That's
out of
fine.
rigid foam and urethane that were then painted before they exploded. It made for a crowded set.
There was always
Oh, I bet
prostitute
crowded.
parts laying around. There was legs and feet and, you know, all kinds of stuff around.
A leg there, an arm over here, a head in that guy's crotch. Why is that head in your crotch? Well, and a torso hanging up from that.
Jeffrey apologizes to the room of body parts and promises to put them back together again. He collects the pieces in trash bags and takes them back to his lab. Let's see what's on the slab. I see him shiver with anticipation. Now that he can finally have a fiancée again, Jeffrey chooses
Here
from
we
an
go.
armory of arms, a buffet of boobs, and a litany of legs. He chooses the best of each kind and curses his faults in organization.
Best of the best.
The hell did that get in there?
When he's done, he puts all the spares in his estrogen-based soup, promising to put the other ladies back together later. But not right now. He's got more important things to do.
Oh,
Head
God,
number
Elizabeth.
1.
I love you so much.
Jeffrey's played by James Lawrence, whom Henenlotter cast based on his performance in 1987 Street Trash. That's another crazy one.
Whoa,
I think he
what
does
the-
great, and it sounds like he took the role pretty seriously.
Working with James was difficult, and he had a real attitude. He was a problem. He was just
Oh.
such a diva.
I thought that lady was joking at first, but man,
Was he that
not let
bad?
up.
Well, what about this? And what about this? And it's like, well, you just fucking measure my arm. It's a 2-second shot.
The storm moves in overhead, but Jeffrey ain't fishing
know,
for
I
Black
get it.
Cloud records. He's ready to zap life into his Frankenbabe. It's about damn time, too. We're almost an hour into Frankenhooker and have yet to see Frankenhooker. He goes
Finally.
through the usual motions of mad science. You ever think about how damn influential OG Frankenstein was? It's just endlessly imitated. And in this case, exceeded, if only in height of platform. The extra yards get the
Wow,
job
that is
done.
high.
And Franken Elizabeth is given all the juice she needs, and then some. In fact, she's already standing upright by the time he brings her back down and unveils her in all her purple glory. Ladies and gentlemen, there we have her. It's Frankenhooker.
Frankenhooker!
Want a date? Going out? Looking for some action?
She doesn't recognize Jeffrey, so she knocks him to the ground.
Ow.
His creation isn't under his control. She's ready to hit the town. Right after she puts on her face. There.
Why is he also repeating the lines of that first woman? Angel, Honey, whichever one it was that actually approached him.
Much better. She gets on a subway where she
I asked because he didn't use her head, so that shouldn't be her lines. Never mind. It's meant to be a comedy movie after all.
Pulls everyone out and spikes the camera. Stop. Oh, and leave that poor little Zepp head alone. Look how uncomfortable he is with those purple boobs in his face. The trademark Frankenhooker face was suggested by Henenlotter.
Patty, just make the face like you're completely just spazzing out.
The only other direction he gave for the character was for her to walk like Boris Karloff. Elizabeth/Frankenhooker is played by Patty Mullen, who I think was the last one cast.
I think he was almost like at a point where he really had to pick somebody.
She had been a Penthouse model who won Pet of the Year in 1987. The next year, sex
good.
worker Amber's actress Kimberly Taylor won Pet of the Month for December. The other sex worker actresses consisted of models, some actual sex workers, and a few actresses who mostly worked in this kind of fare.
I was in a G-string, which was like my costume for the whole movie was G-string and tits. So my costume in most of my movies was a G-string and tits, actually.
Oh, wow.
In the interviews I watched,
Sorry.
they all said Henenlotter was nice, patient, energetic, and collaborative. Seems like they had a great time on set.
This one I had entitled Frankensluts, and you should see the look on our faces. You can tell we're just having a great time.
Just a whole bunch of
We're
friends.
having so much fun.
Jeffrey comes to and runs back to the streets, where he asks if anyone has seen a purple lightning zombie.
Have you seen them around here?
Oh ja, 4 of them. Og jeg vil ha 2 for meg selv.
Wait, what?
What are you talking about? What are you, some kind of a Swede? You're talking to me in Swedish in Times Square.
Dude, was it a law that if you shot something in Times Square in the late 80s, you had to include the Batman logo? Frankenhooker's out on the grind, asking people if they want a date or are looking for some action.
Want a date? You going out? You looking for some action?
Just like I said, when they don't respond, she simply pushes them away.
Yeah.
She's just pushing everyone around. One guy finally takes her up on her offer and gets a room with her at what seems to be the city's only hotel. She takes him to the same room where all her parts were harvested and strips down to reveal purple nips. Her John don't mind, and why should he? This ass has clearly passed quality control. But I guess she is a little too hot for him, since she heats him until he too turns into a foam body and explodes.
Oh,
Tough break,
damn.
but sounds like he got what he paid for.
It must be the super crack in the system, though.
Wonderful.
With a job well done, Frankenhooker collects her fee and heads down the hall, where she runs into another potential client. This guy ain't looking to pay, though.
How about if I stick my tongue down your throat?
She puts an end to that shit right away by electrocuting him through the mouth or whatever.
I don't know.
But he blows
He's
up and his
dead.
head goes flying into a
Ooh,
trash can.
shit.
Then it's right back to work. Damn, Franken Elizabeth has Maxine Mink's tenacity. She out there trying to earn that cash.
Party! Party! Want a party?
Elizabeth's
Yelling and
undead look was
shouting.
also done by Bartalos, who wanted to make her beautiful yet monstrous.
I got the biggest crush on him by the end of the movie. I love Gabe.
The prosthetics and makeup took hours to apply.
3 hours later.
It also took hours to take off, so sometimes Patty Mullen would just drive home and do it herself, freaking out any passersby who happened to see her.
I put my arm out to pay the toll.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy, hey, you know how New Yorkers are. Hey, monster woman.
Elizabeth ends up at a titty bar attended by Pee-wee's neighbor, Mrs. Steve. Zorro's there too, bemoaning all his blown up girls.
Oh, that's kind of
When a
cool.
man loses his house, he loses everything.
Oh, yeah, I remember learning that in poli-sci. That guy starts chatting up Elizabeth, but she's only able
guy
to
just
repeat
gets
things
smacked.
said by the sex workers before they died. That includes mentioning Zorro's name, which he overhears. He comes over and watches as his bar buddy climbs underneath the table to, service Frankenhooker. Instead, he's full played out to the end, getting electro-zapped and blown apart like
Damn.
range. Zorro sees his trademark
That was some pretty good effects, though.
Z tattooed on her arm and demands to know who the hell she is. Then he punches her head right off. Oh man. Yeah, that's gonna send people
Ooh.
scrambling. Haha, well, look
Is that
at
goodbye,
me.
Frankenhooker?
Hey, be honest, Doc. How bad does it look? I love this effect, which looks like it was done with someone leaning forward in a black mask while an animatronic head hung backwards from their shoulders. Cool stuff. Jeffrey's still looking for Elizabeth and gets pointed in the right direction by a sandwich board sidewalk preacher. He's played by Jan Saint, who was also the carnival proprietor in Basket Case 2. Jeffrey gets to the bar as Elizabeth just
Got a whole lot of people from Basket Case 2 up in this.
about shorts out. But no matter, he puts her head back on and guides her out of there. Maybe careful with her head in the car. Yep,
Oh,
there it
and
goes.
there it
Shouldn't have
goes.
accelerated so quickly. Now you're gonna have to break out the bolts. Classic Frankenblank. With the fixes in place, Jeffrey plugs her in again and hopes to have a better second go. Or third go?
You're not a hooker, Elizabeth. You're not. You're not.
Of course I'm not. Why in the world would you ever say anything like that, Jeff?
There we go. Her brain is finally back.
I guess third time's a
Thank
charm.
you.
Now she's speaking with Elizabeth's voice and has her memories again. She seems pretty jazzed about her resurrection, all things considered, until she realizes her fiancé has made some alterations.
These aren't my arms. This isn't my hand. These aren't my legs. This isn't my breast. Look at me. What have you done?
Henenlotter himself
I
considers this a
remade
feminist
you?
film. In a 2013 interview, he said,
Could probably just say, hey, look, I had to get some new parts. The rest of them were buried already. Hey, I had your head, I didn't have the rest of you. That's it.
I've always been fond when women embrace Frankenhooker because they see past the TNA and realize that son of a bitch tried to fix her. Jeffrey starts off seeming like the hero, but we quickly see how unethical he acts to essentially create a living sex doll. I mean, the dude has to drill away parts of his brain to come up with a plan that ends up reducing women to literal parts. Jeffrey tells Elizabeth to calm down and that it's okay. He loves her. But while he's yapping, Zorro sneaks in, grabs a blade, and fucking just chops his head off. Wow,
Damn!
A quick end for the main character. Damn.
Gone
Zorro
already.
says that Frankenhooker is still his property and calls her by the names of all her composite cadaver contributors. That awakens the rest of their body parts from the goop tape, since earlier during the lightning ceremony, they also received a good zapping. They shake the storage cooler until it knocks over and spills out the entire goop troop. Oh
Funny.
man, look at these things.
Oh my god, what the hell? Oh dear.
Get the fuck away from me!
Oh
All
god.
these disgusting body part creatures that look Brian Usna-esque.
Ah!
He's the madman who gave us the shunting and a whole lot of goopy fleshy stuff like this. But this is more great work by Bartalos. This monstrosity, which he named the Titty Twister, was a large puppet with a remote control
that was
head.
funny.
To accommodate the puppeteers operating this thing, the floor of the lab set had to be raised 4 feet off the ground. The body parts have their way with Zorro and kill him by dragging him back inside the freezer to be put on ice.
Oh.
That leaves Elizabeth with some peace and quiet, and Jeffrey's head, and she knows just what to do with that. The movie ends with Jeffrey waking up to Dr. Frankenhooker, who's sewn his head back to his body. Or, sorry, a body.
Holy shit! That's not my hand! What are these boobs?
Yeah, I would just be like, you made me a woman. Yeah, I really okay.
Elizabeth, what did you do to me?
This is like the world's most inappropriate carnival cutout. Since his serum only works with estrogen, she's given him a female body. Now, Jeffrey, aren't you so pleased with super science? How many bodies wound up on the old Frankenhook?
Well, I guess that means his next project should be trying to find a way to work with testosterone so he can get his body back.
Let's find out and...
Oh, well, a male body at least.
Oh, shit, I need a to the numbers bit.
Not the drill.
Oh, yeah, that's the stuff. It's right behind me the whole time. Just need some crack.
Ah, super crack.
There were 15 kills in Frankenhooker, with the first 10 victims female and the final 5 male. That gives a pie chart with a 2-to-1 ratio of lady to dude victims and a count and gender breakdown we've only seen twice before. In
Ooh,
Scream 4 and
okay.
Fear Street Part 1, 1994. With a runtime of 84 minutes, Frankenhooker had a kill on average every 5.6 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill collectively to all the prostitutes blown up by Jeffrey's super crack. Sure,
Yeah,
it ain't
agreed.
gory, but it's still wild and probably the most memorable part of the movie. Henenlotter says it's his favorite sequence he's ever done. The All Machete for Lamest kill will go to Elizabeth. It's an important inciting
off-screen
incident,
as
but
well.
it all happens off screen, aside from that poor little lawn gnome getting splattered with blood. And that's it. Frankenhooker came out in 1990, and despite Patty Mullen's interest, there's never been a sequel.
I keep telling
Really
them to do a
now?
Frankenhooker 2. Frankenhooker goes to Mars. Frankenhooker goes surfing.
Next week you get 2 episodes. Be thankful for that. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. It's been the Kill Count.
On the
Next week we get 2 episodes, huh? Well, let's see what they are.
next kill count.
In 2007, director Eli Roth made a fake trailer for a new vision of holiday horror. 16 years later, it finally came to life.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Damn!
On the anniversary of a tragedy that rocked the town of Plymouth, Massachusetts,
What was that?
a killer has come to carve up its ungrateful residents.
Gather round the table, everyone.
It's the Pilgrim Reaper, John Carver, here to celebrate the day on everybody's lips.
It's Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is a slasher whodunit in the vein of Scream and its imitators, which it references heavily. It's got as many suspects as side dishes.
Be careful who you trust.
Honestly, maybe too
That's
many.
a lot of
You
side
met
dishes.
Detective Chu, yeah?
I can't remember if I did. I can't even remember if he made it into the kill count. But at least this cast of killable teens and colorful locals are fun to watch.
Damn!
Almost as fun as watching
Okay,
them
that is
die.
kind of cool.
Dinner is served.
This week, silence your
That's
bickering
Bobby.
relatives and gather around the table for Thanksgiving.
This is insane.
Then on Wednesday, be thankful for a special festive kill count, only on Dead Meat.
Thanksgiving
Oh,
is an
Thanksgiving.
institution.
Thanksgiving can currently be watched on the pictured streaming platforms. Dead Meat always recommends you watch the movie for yourself before its kill count. It's the only way to have your own properly informed opinion. Kill counts are never meant to replace the
Nice.
experience of watching a film.
Thanks a lot for watching this kill count.
And that's going to be the end for today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of y'all next time when we flick back on. Until then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.